Okay, hello guys. Welcome to Moon Day Monday. It's midnight. So we're going to do an extra special read tonight. We're actually going to be doing Promethea. I did a little bit of a trial today to have my little elf ears on. So I was like, oh, good. I think I'll go live at the same time and make the most of it. So I hope you guys had a great Halloween. We're now out of it, right? We're now in November. So what I'm going to do tonight with you guys is we're going to do a midnight bedtime read. And I've taken to being a moon elf. So I'm like my character from D&D, which I play on Thursdays, which is Mayari Moonchild. So without further ado, we're going to go into Promethea. Black Superman, thanks for the heart me. So we are going to go into reading, hold on, Alan Moore's Promethea, because it's a very magical read. And I do have this, I think I have book 5 that you can get if you are part of the Cosmic Comic Book Club. So welcome, welcome. So we're going to do, do I want to read from the beginning? This is book 1. I'm missing book 2 because I lent it out to a friend. But Promethea, let's put it this way. She's like living imagination, embodiment of that. So that's why I took to being Mayari tonight with you guys, or a moon elf with you guys tonight, because it's about sharing, I guess, like fairy tale stories and like these more like elemental kind of situations. So let's go into the read. I'm going to go right into it. And Godberg 204, hello, welcome. Happy Monday. We're starting the new week. We're in that midnight liminal space between the 2 days. So I hope you guys are well. So we're going to actually, let's start from the beginning. I wanted to read, let's go into book 3. I haven't actually read book 3 with you guys. I read book 1. I've read where Promethea actually comes from, a bit of her origin story, but I'm going to jump right into book 3 and go from there. Because it kind of starts out, the imagery in here is quite gorgeous, and that's really what I want to focus on today. So hello everybody. Hi, Mr. Top Ramen. I'm an elf today. I'm my D&D character, Mayari Moonchild. I'm a moon elf. So I also love elves. I love half elves, all that kind of stuff. So or a fairy. A fairy could work as well. And also I love Tinkerbell, all that kind of thing. Hi, Alexander. I hope you guys are fantastic tonight. So I also have some dragon eggs, and I'm going to be doing some photo shoots with it. Let me see here. Alexander, hi. Mr. Top Rabbit, thanks for the gifts. Okay, so let's go right into Promethea. Corn Jello. I don't know what that means. Anyways, welcome, you guys. I hope you're well. And if you've ever played any fantasy things, or if you love elves are, I guess, as a race, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, they typically play as like good, right? You have dark elves and other types of elves as well. But typically speaking, elves are, if we were to put them as elementals, they represent the different parts of nature and the forest. Like you have like wood elves. I'm a moon elf in this case. You have high elves. I read a book once where, let's say, the elves that lived in the coral reef, they lived in synergy with the coral reef. So they had the coral grow in such a way that it would accommodate their I guess I could be Legolas too, Stefan. I'm like, I am an elf. I'm my own custom character tonight, right? So she's not complete. She's an archer as well. So I have a little bow and arrow, moon elf. I also have a moon short sword. But I wanted to read you guys Promethea tonight by Alan Moore. So if you guys are not familiar with Promethea, oh, thanks, Stefan. This is my elf ear trial, so I appreciate that. I'm going to actually take my overcoat off because it's like warm in here today, and I hope it doesn't get mad at me for that. So, because this outfit's very boobtastic, and I don't want to cause problems. Hi, Will. Thank you. Let me get free of this. I have another jacket that I could wear as well. Okay, that's better, right? Whew. Oh, much better. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss this hair over, and then I think we can get started. Much better. Feel better. Any villain of your kind. Do elves have villains? You know what? Elves can be snotty. That's the thing. If you guys have seen Lord of the Rings, like Arwen's father, who's also Mr. Anderson from The Matrix. Not Mr. Anderson, but Smith. That's what you call his name. I forget The Matrix a little bit. Hey, Gwen Stacy, welcome to the read. Oh my goodness, you guys, welcome. I am your moon elf for today. Let me make sure I'm not accidentally like getting TikTok algorithms mad at me. So welcome. He's in grade 8. I'm in 7. Oh my goodness, I remember grade 8. I was so boy crazy in grade. I actually wrote my first book in grade 8. So you can actually get my book, The Dragon Warriors Battle for Mount Olympus. It's about me and my best friends when we were 14. And I had such anxiety graduating from grade 8 and going into high school. I was going to an all-girls Catholic high school, and so I was terrified. And so I wrote a book just so we could always just stay together forever. And so Lumina, hi you guys. Welcome to the live. Tonight I'm playing as a D&D character that I play on Thursdays. We're actually looking for a new player because we lost our dwarf a little recently, if you're interested. But I named her Mayari. But I'm going to Mayari. Oh, so girl, I know what that's all about. And funny story, two boys that I wrote about, my girlfriend, because we didn't have boyfriends at the time. We were 14 and very sheltered. So we wrote boys into life. So my best friend, Rachel, she got married to Brian in the book. We wrote him into life. And my bestie, Laura, is now dating someone who's very similar to Brad, who we wrote in the book. And I married who I wrote it in the book. So I welcome you guys to, put out there, like if you're not in a relationship or if you're in a relationship, it doesn't really matter. Remember that, all of these heroes that we love this is why I dress up my hubby as Hal Jordan or like as Nightwing, because these crushes, why do we have crushes on people, right? Yes, they're beautiful, yes, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Why we find things attractive is because of other things. So, Saojim, I am playing as Mayari Moonchild. I'm a moon elf from the Forgotten Realms world of D&D. Fun fact, I am in Toronto, right? I need that as a webtoon. I love webtoons, you guys. I love racy webtoons too, right? Because you can show things in like illustrations that are just like not possible. Let's see here. I finally have a girlfriend. Hey, Scott, congratulations. I love love. I'm a big romantic. Oh, and so you guys, awesome guy D. Okay, so we're gonna read some Promethea tonight. I have read Promethea to you guys before, book 1, which I have here. My friend Aria, she has book 2, and book 5. I actually think I have I have a reading somewhere. And I will link to that in the replay of this read. So I always think of that as like getting lucky, you guys. But I will put it out there that the universe does respond to you, right? So like my friend, I have a few friends of mine. I love to give love advice. I'm a big champion of love. I always want things to work out in the end, but you have to also realize like certain relationships do have their time, right? Your high school sweetheart, that kind of situation. Like my first heartbreak that I had when I was about 16, I think, or so. I was almost very offended when he broke up with me because he pursued me so much, right? And I was definitely that kind of girl before who I liked the chase, and this is why I loved Felicia Hardy a lot. I loved the chase, but like once being in a relationship, I got very bored. So to all of you guys out there who are in committed relationships and realize that it's a lot of fun, but it's also work in a sense of like keeping things fresh, learning about the other person, learning where to compromise, all that kind of beautiful stuff that's involved when you really love somebody. So we're going to read Promethea tonight. I am playing as Mayari Moonchild, my moon elf. Mayari comes from the Filipino moon goddess. So I'm half Filipino, my mom's Filipino, and my dad is South African. And so I took some inspiration from the old pantheon of moon goddesses, because moon goddesses exist in every culture. Like you have Artemis, Luna, Diana. There's a lot of different moon goddesses, and in Filipino culture, before Christianity came to the island, they had a pantheon of gods and goddesses, and Mayari is the moon goddess. Now, she's also like very much attributed to things like Venus, Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. Love doesn't fulfill my desires. Well, Apple, you have to figure out what does for you, right? It's all a learning of it, and also to what we love, right? I don't know if people realize like you truly do have to love yourself first before we have any business loving anybody else. Carl Jung in psychology, because I took psychology when I was in university, and I like Jung. I wouldn't consider myself a Jungian, but in it he talks about how every female has an inner imagination of what a man is, right? And every man has an inner imagination of what a woman is. Like, for example, I went down a whole rabbit hole with Supergirl because Supergirl's creator, one of her creators is a man called Otto Binder. Now, Otto Binder also is a prolific science fiction writer. I don't know if you guys know that the same creator of Supergirl is also the same writer of I, Robot. And, the film of I, Robot with Will Smith, that story comes from the same man who helped create Supergirl, right? He also created Crypto. So it's important to note that the creator of Superman, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, that's not the same team that created Supergirl and Crypto. The creator, Otto Binder, actually also created Mary Marvel, Ms. Marvel, the Marvel family, the Legion of Superheroes is all under Otto Binder. So it's kind of interesting when you look at the creators of these different characters. Like once you create and like you let it out into the wild, others reiterate on it. Another example is Alan Moore. Great segue into this. Like, for example, Alan Moore has written about Swamp Thing a lot, and me and my hubby have just started to watch Swamp Thing, the show that came out in 2019. It actually features Blue Devil in it and Madame Xanadu looking. They did their own riff on it. I really like it so far. So Swamp Thing, if you're not familiar with that character, is, well, how should I put it? Originally, Swamp Thing was a man who was a scientist who ended up in this like experimental like explosion, and he's working in the swamp. And so like essentially the spirit of the swamp infuses with Alec Holland and he becomes Swamp Thing. Now that's like the original creation of that character. Alan Moore, who has written a lot about Swamp Thing, has not reiterated it, but he's brought more to the mythos. So he's specifically stated that in his version of Swamp Thing, Alec Holland actually dies, and then the elemental spirit of the swamp takes over Alec Holland's like consciousness and memories. And so it's kind of like a similar thing with like Phoenix and Jean Grey, where you have this cosmic entity and how that infuses with a host. And that actually goes similar with Promethea, right? So in Promethea, we're going to jump right into this story. Alan Moore, one of my favorite comic book authors, is also considers himself a wizard. And he's talked a lot about how things like the tarot and all of these kinds of things are maps. And in Promethea specifically, book 5, and I don't think this spoils anything, it talks about the end of the world. But in defining the world, we're talking about systems and organizations. If we want to take it to like a matrix situation, it's like rebooting the matrix kind of thing. So I'm just going to jump into book 3, and just like a dream, it'll be like, you'll know exactly what's going on. And if you have any questions, just let me know. We'll go for about 45 minutes. And then tomorrow I'll be back with some neurolinguistic astrology in the day. And then later on, I think we're going to do some Green Lantern. So we shall see. I'm trying to do a little bit more scheduling so you guys know what characters are going to be live when, so that, you know, if you have your favorites, you can get Black Canary when you get Black Canary, or Batgirl, or Jean Grey, or Supergirl, Zatanna. Zatanna will be live for sure though on Wednesday, because we do have a full moon on Wednesday, and so I'm gonna have Zatanna here to do some magical stuff. Hey, Frankie Guyton, it's been a while. I hope you're well. So we're gonna do some Promethea. I am Mayari Moonchild, your moon elf host for this evening, wherever you are in the cosmos. Welcome to the Cosmic Comic Book Club, to all you magical beings out there. So I want to make sure that you actually can read it. I can't read it from Walter's perspective. Let's see. Okay, let me back up and go this way. Yeah, there. You can at least see the artwork, because the artwork's pretty stellar. So I'm just going to give you guys a synopsis super quick, and then we'll jump right into the read. Sophie Bangs lives in a present-day New York City similar to our own, but one dominated by science. What interests Sophie, however, is not science, however. It is myth. Me too, girl. Specifically, the recurring myths and stories of a mystic warrior named Promethea, whose origins seem to emerge from the dim memories of 5th century Egypt. I did, Frankie Guyton. It's okay. I know that communication these days, right? Like trying to get through all of the noise. We'll touch base. I've been all over the place as well when it comes to like all of my scheduling and like getting back to certain messages. This is, Booster Gold. I love you as a comic book hero, actually. I've been watching these things of like that animation where the kid gets back his ants and he's like, thanks, Green Lantern. And Booster Gold's like, I'm not Green Lantern, I'm Booster Gold. And I'm like, well, how could you confuse Booster Gold with Green Lantern? He's not even green. So we're gonna read book 3 of Promethea, written by Alan Moore, illustrated by J.H. Williams. So it's this beautiful epic journey of the living imagination. And so we're gonna jump into it. Sophie Bangs is who our our protagonist is, and she is the current Promethea. So Promethea is the original story. I've read you guys from book 1 before. Promethea, the original story, how she first comes to be is 5th century Egypt. She gets basically taken into the imagination realm and becomes a living story. And so in order to invoke that, in order to transform into Promethea, one must do something creative. So in this case, Sophie typically writes a poem or goes into a creative flow state. And so there's a really nice tell in there, right? In terms of saying like, oh, when you go into creative flow states, you're also accessing, or that's like a way of transforming into the essence of whatever that hero is, right? Maybe we're all Promethea on a level, I think. Okay. Like, I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. Hi, Corey. Thank you for that gift, right? It looks cool. And Alan Moore does love, I feel like, encoding things into it. So other stories Alan Moore has written besides Promethea, V for Vendetta, Watchmen, some of the Swamp Things, as well as he's actually written a few stories from Green Lantern, as well as Superman in the DC Comics world. It's known that Alan Moore hates the comic book industry. I don't blame him. And also that DC continuously prints his stuff so that they keep the rights of it. So, I mean, I get it, being like grumpy wizard up in the mountains, being like, screw this industry, right? Hi, Corey. However, his work still stands on its own, right? And it's kind of cool to imagine that, like, back in the day, Alan Moore and like Frank Miller, who created Sin City, would have like dinners together and like throw ideas against each other. And I'm hoping we're going to have a renaissance of such a thing when it comes to world building right now. And that's why, like, you know, D&D, Forgotten Realms, these different ways, these different worlds that have been crafted by people's dreams, you have yours too, right? And when they interact with each other, that's how we make like a bigger story. So I hope you guys enjoy learning about Promethea if you haven't learned about her before. I think there's a crossover actually with her coming up soon. Okay, let's see here. Researching a fictional trail through centuries, Sophie uses the power of story to take on the persona of Promethea and revels in the new power and understanding it provides. Yet, there is dire peril as well, one which causes the death of her mentor Barbara, the previous Promethea. And now, Sophie must take on a new challenge, the exploration of the higher realms of the immateria, the 10 spheres of the Kabbalah, searching first for Barbara, then for Barbara's long-dead husband through the realms represented by the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, and Mars. Promethea faces the vast wonders and sudden dangers only hinted at in her scant studies of magic. So, walk with her now on the highways of the unknown in this startling new adventure. So, we're jumping into book 3, Just Like a Dream. Welcome to a reading of Promethea. I am your host for this late night read as a moon elf named Mayari. Hello, hello. So I love this story. There's a lot of, I'm going to try to show you guys a lot of the artwork because a lot of it's super magical. So chapter 1, a friend is brought into the magic. A mystic pathway is explained and a perilous journey begins. Oh yes. Cover art is by J.H. Williams III and Jose Villarrubia. Amazing. Hello. Hi, Raiden. Interesting. Very nice. Yeah, right. So I try to do some stuff where we bring stories to life. So if you guys are not familiar with Promethea, as I said, it's written by Alan Moore, one of my favorite comic book authors, and he is the creator of such stories as Watchmen, V for Vendetta. Oh my gosh. It's escaping me, but there's a few DC comic books as well. Is it manga? I wouldn't consider it manga. I would say it's not quite what's normal comic book style. It's a bit more realistic. And there's a scene in here as well that when they start to become less real, they start to look more photoreal. It's very interesting. Okay, let's jump into it. Welcome to Promethea, my friends. America's best comics, Promethea, The Fields We Know. Summer 2000. So we start the story in the year 1999, which is kind of interesting now. So time has passed and we're now in the year 2000. So in our world, though, we're going back into the past future, right? It reads left to right. Yes, it does leave left to right. So it's not a manga. I do have some mangas here somewhere. I have Sailor Moon mangas and Berserk ones, and they do read the other way. So let's go. So, like, if I can interrupt your psychotic break for just a moment, we're sitting out here. Why exactly? No, wait. Let's see if I can figure this out myself, using only my earthling ingenuity. You say you're going away for a long time. Maybe the whole summer break. I mean, like, I care. You say, meet me in the park. I've got something to tell you. I'm thinking she's going to admit that that she's gay. Oh, but oh no. What you tell me is that there's like a whole microbe cities on that dog turd over there. Ooh, Stace, oh my gosh. So Stacy, and I'm just going to skip this a little bit because it's like this conversation between Sophie Banks, who's the current Promethea, and her bestie. And she's trying to explain what's going on with her, how she's also Promethea, like this like magic superhero, but also like she's still there too, right? So Promethea, The Fields We Know. I just wanted to sit with you out here and take this all in. You know? Really take it in. the material world, how it all fits together, how it all works, all the colors, all the sounds, and, well, I don't know, the variety. It's fantastic. And more incredible still, we're not experiencing any of this directly. It's all a tapestry of our perceptions. Matter is just a state of mind. And then her friend's listening to this, she's like, oh my gosh. Oh, please, Sophie. I mean, spare me the Jedi philosophy, would you? What's the sudden mature obsession? Well, I guess it's what I'm leaving behind. When I said I was going away, Stace, I meant I was going away from Earth. Are you okay with that? What? Oh, geez. Look, come on. Let's walk. So they're now walking through the panels, right? You're going away from Earth? What? You're going to some other planet? Like Mars or somewhere? Well, no. But actually, yeah. In a way, I suppose I am. See, it's all this magic stuff that I've been learning about. There's the planets, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, whatever big physical balls of gas and rock hanging there in space. Then there's what these planets mean. Like, what? Cheap real estate? Ha ha ha. Stace, I'm serious, okay? See, magic, what it is, well, in some ways, it's an attempt to map existence, both physical and non-physical. The planets are used to symbolize levels of awareness, as if they were actual places on a map. Right. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and Sophie's from Uranus. Ha ha. Stace, if you want to understand any of this, it's kind of sort of important that you do. Then you better listen. Earth's a place, and it's a state of mind. And me and Promethea are leaving both of them. Are you fairy? I am a fairy, yes. Well, more of like an elf. I would consider myself a nature elf, though, right? If you were a type of elf, you're typically related to the nature or the environment that you are in or that you venerate. So either like a woodland elf or a high elf, a mountain elf, a sea elf, right? I'm a moon elf tonight, though, right? Okay, so continuing onward, you can see here the symbolism. So she's saying that, just like what I say to you guys when we do astrology, that there's the planets, of course, how we're seeing like balls of gas up in the sky or space, but there's also what these planets, what they mean, right? So the meaning behind Venus, Mars, Mercury, as well as the Earth being both a place as well as a state of mind. So continuing onward, Stace, her friend here, is like, what the heck is going on? Oh, thanks for the rose. Appreciate it. So Stace says, so what? You're just going to fly off into, I don't know, the magic? And you've been planning all of this? All these months, you've been reading books, visiting that Faust creep. I've been getting ready for a journey. Yeah, that's right. Jack's been helping me prepare. And no, we haven't had sex since that just one time. And he didn't want to have sex with Sophie. He wanted to have sex with Promethea. So that's a whole separate thing. He's actually been a real friend to me. Oh, well, obviously. You tell him you're leaving, but you don't tell me. Stace Vanderveer, you are a rude, conceited, selfish a-hole, but you are my very best friend. And I know saying this is going to get me called a lesbo for the rest of my life, but I really love you, Stace. And right here on this spot is the last place that you are going to see me for a while. And I want you to give me a hug and kiss me goodbye and not say anything, okay? So they hug. Are there too much differences between male and female's Taurus signs? I will say this, that each sign will be considered masculine or feminine. For example, Aries is considered a masculine sign because it's ruled by Mars, right? So it's not to say that Aries women are masculine, right? It just means that certain attributes that are considered or classified as masculine, like aggression or physicality, that kind of stuff, are more expressed in that female form. So when you're talking about Taurus, Taurus is actually a female sign, right? A female earth sign. And so males who are Tauruses have, I feel like, a little bit more understanding of the feminine side of life. And that doesn't mean that men are feminized. It can actually also make them more masculine, right? Because it's like this foil of the other end of what true femininity is, right? So if a Taurus woman is very soft and voluptuous, a Taurus man would be very strong and sturdy, right? So the way that the signs express themselves in the different masculine or feminine forms is also dependent on other things going on in your chart too, right? Oh yeah, I know. Yes, two cameras would definitely be a thing. I have to worry about the bandwidth when it comes to certain things, and in studio, it doesn't have the same vibe when I read it online. I've done it before where I have like a screen share at the top or at the bottom and I read it, and it's not the same vibe because I know you guys want to see the beautiful panels too, right? So, and she does call her a lesbo at the end, just joking. So, I'll figure out something. Two cameras would be a good thing too, because even then you could have just a little close up of it. I really wish, like iPhone and Android have different features when it comes to the front and back cameras to be able to have two cameras like that. But I'm pretty sure I can jerry rig something. But thank you for the suggestion. And Buckshot, thank you for the heart me. Welcome to the team, all of you magical people. I see you. And we're all about looking at comic books for the deeper hidden coded meanings in them, right? So we're reading Promethea. If you're not familiar with Promethea, I have read book 1 on my channel somewhere. I need to find where it is. There's also book 5, which I will also link to because it talks a lot about time dilation and the connection between time and electromagnetism and our perception of time when it comes to things like the end of the world. And for us to not be fearful of such things, right? The universe is change. It's just, a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. It's going to feel really scary at first, but it's just to know that like it's all just in the cycle of things, right? Like us going into winter, for example, right? Doesn't mean like we're never going to have summer again. It's just knowing like where we are in time space kind of thing. So continuing onward, Alan Moore does a great job of leveraging things like the planets, the luminaries, and tarot and Kabbalah, these different esoteric traditions as a way of telling a story, but also conveying, I would say, like different mystery school truths, because those types of things are not necessarily meant to be talked about straight. Like it's like being part of like a secret group. You're not supposed to tell secrets, like especially when it comes to magic and learning certain spells or being entrusted with certain codices or intel, right? Even those of you who have, let's say, prolific dreams, or if you have these kinds of clairvoyant or psychic experiences, I've also had to learn like certain things are not meant to be messed with. Like some things are just meant to happen, and some things for you to know about. It's about having the grace to accept things when they are meant to happen, right? Between Virgo and Libra. Oh, that I have a lot of girlfriends in that placement too. The people between that placement are very attractive, generally speaking. All right, let's continue onwards. I can say more about that, Bakshata. There is a lot right now of in Astro. We're going to talk about this tomorrow if you join me in the day show where I'll do some card readings for the week. There's a lot of endings, but it's so that there can be space for new beginnings. So there's going to be a lot of blasts from the past, or like old friendships, old flames that come back. And I don't mean just in this lifetime, whatever that means. You know what? It always happens when you are least expecting it. Okay, let's continue on. So she's like, okay, I'm giving you a hug. And then now it looks like she's like just going into a tree. She's like, okay, I've said my goodbyes. I'm leaving now. Trees are portals, though, you know, yo. So what? You're serious? Just like that. You're just going. Okay, bye, Stacy. I have wrote my own book. You actually get it on Amazon, my book one, because I wrote a book when I was 14, which is funny. It took place in 1999, just like Promethea is supposed to take place in 1999. Good for the lungs. Let's keep going. And yes, good for if you're talking about trees, they're good for the lungs. Also, if you just go and hug a tree, it's been known like just the vibrations, because we all give off a vibe, right? It's not just woo-woo science. Like, it's why like we all, because we have mass, are going to have a gravity that pulls, like has an atmosphere that's around us, right? So whether or not you believe in auras or that kind of energy thing, right? It's just a matter of like you give off something, right? And whether or not you see it or feel it, however you perceive it, planets, ourselves, and stars share that all in common, right? So she's like, okay, I'm leaving now. Bye. I'm going through the tree. Hi, Dandy Moneyman. Welcome. Dandy Money and I share a birthday. So Taurus, he's like a good example of like, you know, male and female Taurus energies, how that expresses. Also, too, though, you have to pay attention to things like, I'm a moon elf, right? Your moon sign. So my moon sign, I was actually born under a crescent moon. That's actually important, too. For example, there's a full moon coming up on the 5th. And Jean Grey was actually born on November 5th. And it was in 1945. So I don't know if there was a full moon on November 5th. But fun thing for you guys to note, take a look at what moon phase the moon was in when you were born and what sign it was in. Because it'll give you some understanding to your inner self, your subconscious self, your inner archetypes of a mother, a child, what that all looks like in your internal world. And knowing that about yourself can give some clarity as to why sometimes your sun sign doesn't fit quite right. Like me being a Taurus, I do things like, I don't know, like I change my mind really quickly. Like Taurus is, I love snacks. I'll give you, like, this is a good example. So I'm like one of those people who I'll get obsessed with a certain flavor, like carrot cake or something. And so I'll like make carrot cake, eat carrot cake muffins, carrot cake cookies, go nuts about it. And then one day, out of nowhere, I'll hate it. Right? And I'm like, I don't like this anymore. And I don't know what causes it, right? And there's no rhyme or reason to it. And so like this flighty nature that's like my Gemini moon. Like it just can kind of, my emotions can just kind of like switch out of nowhere. And so I've kind of learned to kind of parse my emotions as well, because for example, like when you're going towards a goal, like let's say you're competing in a bodybuilding competition like I have in the past, and you love cookies, you have to be like, okay, I can't eat the cookies because I need to step on stage in 8 weeks. So I have to eat this tilapia and broccoli constantly, right? So I had to almost like, you have to give up what you want right now for what you want most of all kind of situation. Salt, yeah. But you know what? Salt can be like, salt is actually a component of alchemy as well, right? So salt brings out, it's about balance when using any of those things. Like sugar, I love sugar, like obsessed with it. But You can have sugar that comes from honey, sugar that comes from maple syrup, or sugar that's overly processed, right? It's not all the same kind of thing, just like you, right? Like we can all be Tauruses, but the type of Taurus you are is, specific to you because of all the beautiful things, right? Oh, thank you. And thanks, Papa Dave. Hey, I saw that you like the elemental stuff. I feel like you vibe with that. I feel like you give me like earth elemental vibes. Papa Dave. You're a Gemini though, so fairy vibes. Fairies are supposed to be air elementals if they exist in that cosmology. So we'll continue on a little bit longer. So Sophie, we're going to see some people and explain what Sophie has in mind for you. And yes, for now, this is still Earth. So she's transformed into Promethea for the next part of this journey because since Promethea and Sophie have to leave Earth, I think she's entrusting her friend Stacy or Stace with some stuff to do, like to protect Earth while she's away, right? Okay, but where are we going? And what's with these trees? And they look all weird to me, like I'm tripping or something. Are we still on Earth? We're going to see some people and explain what Sophie has in mind for you. And yes, this is still Earth. It's just that this is the upstairs part. So the upstairs part of Earth, right? Sophie Bangs, you come. Oh wait, so I here's the thing about comic books too, right? Sometimes you read it this way, and in this case, I read it wrong. You're actually supposed to go this way. So I kind of like jumped ahead in time and then jumped back. So Sophie like goes into a tree. She transforms into Promethea. So she then comes back to her friend Stacy to then lead her on this kind of journey. So she's saying she's still on Earth, and Stace says, "I thought you said that this was where you were leaving me." "Oh, that was Sophie. You are stuck with me a little while yet. Come along." So she's coming along. They're going on a little journey so that I think Stace can understand a little bit more of what she means. So maybe if I can just trying to uncensor stuff you're saying. Authentic Bofi. I'm going to put this here and we're going to go for about 10 more minutes, you guys. So thank you guys for joining this read of Promethea and my elf ear test, because this is my first time doing like I've had my elf ears on before, but not proper. So this is my official moon elf cosplay as Mayari. So thanks for joining. And I thought that why not do a magical read like Promethea, right? I'm on the light side, usually. But sometimes you have to go into the darkness in order to face it, right? Oh, you'll never know. It's actually just brown, right? But not a normal one. Oh, let me just... There. Okay. No way. You opened a door into that whole immateria stuff. Look at that. That's what's called a Pegasus. That is not a Pegasus. That's like some sort of demon creature. Yes, sometimes the only way out is through. A Sphinx. And no, we're not in the immateria yet. I thought I'd take us by the pretty route. Oh yes, the scenic route on the way through the immateria. You see even the earthly material plane has graded levels. They range from the dense blackness of the underworld up to this highest, most etherical and symbolic level of awareness. Oh, thank you. Thanks, John. Oh, thanks for the tiara. Yay, it matches my whole moon elf vibe, like moon princess vibe kind of situation. Oh, great. I'm glad that you learned something. And you know what? I've gotten used to reading Alan Moore. He's not that easy to read because of the way that his prose is, but thanks for that. And thanks for being receptive, right? Okay. They range from the dense blackness of the underworld up to this highest, most etherical and symbolic level of awareness. And you got all of this from that creepy guy's books? Hey, what happened to those bratty tourist kids I saw earlier? Hi, Voice of One. Welcome to the read. They're still there. So, just to let you guys know, if you aren't familiar with Promethea, there's a world called the Immateria, and it's like astral traveling, right? Your body's still tethered to the earth, and you go travel off upwards. Hey, Lion Sign Official, welcome. I'm going to go for just a couple minutes more. So they're still there. You're just seeing them as they, You're just seeing them now as what they symbolize, right? It's the 4 princesses of the tarot pack. They're attributed to this earthly plane, or this earthly sphere, rather. Hey, Shay Hamilton, been a while. Welcome. It's like each of the 4 elements in their earthiest manifestation, okay? You know, Soph, some of this is super complicated. Thanks for the gift. It's as complicated as one needs it to be. It's got big general measurements and fine gradations, like any system. If you like, it can be as simple as a child's game. So I'm playing as, ironically enough, a moon elf from my D&D campaign named Mayari, right? And I'm reading Promethea, Something Magical, so you can kind of hear a little bit of, anyways, I'll continue onward. I'm going to go for just a little longer. I actually wasn't originally going to go live, you guys. I wanted to do a little bit of a moon elf ear stuff. So if you want to catch more of the tarot readings and the astro stuff, we can do that tomorrow. So I'll go for about, and thanks you guys for joining. Moony Beats, Buckshot, thanks for the rose. Thanks for reposting. And I will definitely have a replay of this so you guys can catch all of this. And I'll have some shots of the panels up close as well. Yes, you just started for this book, right? Right here? Yeah, good for you, Steele. I mean, like, how synchronicity? Like, that's some fun synchronicity stuff. So hopefully I'm not spoiling anything being in book 3. It shouldn't. Okay, so she's saying it's as simple as a child's game. So basically, right, they've taken the Kabbalah Tree of Life situation and put it like a hopscotch game, right? Whoa, what's this? Hopscotch for the colorblind? Well, I suppose you could play hopscotch on it, but you might vanish or something. No, this is like a map or maybe a circuit board. It's the structure of things, whether that's the universe or each individual human soul. It's an old Hebrew knowledge system called Kabbalah. It's intended to encode all conceivable existence into a single glyph. Each of those 10 spheres is called a sephira. Sephira is just a Hebrew word for number. The 22 paths connecting them are the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. So it's as simple as 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. It's also the road atlas for heaven, and so I'm going to be needing it soon. Come on, along this way. Hold on, what's with these 3 paths forking off here, and this big cross thing? Wait a minute, if the Earth sphere is like number 10, then this is a big Roman numeral 10, right? Well, sort of, but only by coincidence. Actually, the cross in a circle is the planetary symbol of Earth. The 4 colors represent the graded levels of the earthly awareness I mentioned from the underworld black, up through russet and olive, to the heavenly citrine. And for the 22 major tarot cards, Shin corresponds with judgment or the Aeon. As for these forking paths, the one on the left, that's Highway 31 of the 22 paths. This one corresponds to the Hebrew letter Shin. So I just told you it means judgment. See, I read that in the opposite order. So the strange thing about comic books, right? Like how time works, the different panels, how you move through it. Similar situation. And then it's an intellectual, rational path to enlightenment. But I think it involves an apocalyptic, world-shattering revelation. We probably don't want to go there just yet. Now, the path on the right is Highway 29. Its Hebrew letter is this, Kuf or Uf? Kuf. And its tarot card is the moon, speaking of the moon. It's the path to illumination as well, but it's more unconscious and emotional. I suppose it represents the long dark night of the soul, and you probably don't want to go there just yet either. That leaves us with this center path, Route 32. I know this highway pretty well, plus it takes us to the people that I wanted you to meet. In fact, I think that's them. Right up ahead. Oh, there they are. Oh, I love this panel so much. This is going to be where we end. We're going to finish this and we'll end it because you can see all the other Prometheas, right? Like you mean like all the different Supergirls, all the different versions, right? They all can be true. Something to consider. Sophie, and you've brought a friend. This had better be good. So I'm going to go this way because I know that the panel goes this way. Ah, you totally lied. You said that we were still on Earth. We were on Earth. And now we're just somewhere else. Just stay calm, okay? Sophie, you're not supposed to bring tangibles through here. What did she call me? Shut up, Stace. Margaret, everybody, I have something to announce. Oh, now I'm worried for sure. Actually, Poppet, for once I agree. What's going on, darling? Me, Grace. I'm going on. Going on? Well, what's that supposed to mean? Hey, don't look at me. She's been like this all freaking day. I'm going after Barbara. They're all staring at her. Because remember, Barbara died, right? So she's going past. Hey, Spider Carnage, welcome. I'm just finishing up this read. I was doing a little bit of a moon elf ear trial, so thanks for joining. We're going to finish off here, this last little panel, where all the other Prometheas are staring at Sophie's Promethea, being like, you're going to go into, like, basically, like, death realms to go retrieve Barbara, who's also another Promethea. Barbara? But Soph, isn't she the one who... Oh. Sophie, Barbara's gone on to the higher levels of the immateria. She's gone on to the soul. I've been studying with Jack Faust and the snakes. I've been learning about the Kabbalah. I think I can do this. Sophie, this is so not a good idea. Wait a minute. Are you going into the afterlife? And that's where I'm going to leave it. Dun, dun, dun. Your D&D gets a dwarven chant. Oh, I totally knew it. I totally knew it, Papa Dave. You know what? If you guys are interested in playing D&D on Thursdays, I think we're looking for another player for that campaign, and we could use a dwarf, actually. We could also use a cleric with, like, heavy armor and someone who can heal. All right, guys, so thank you so much for playing along this evening as Mayari Moonchild, Moon Elf, reading Promethea to you guys. So I will, in the replay, have the links to this read where we talk about where Prometheus' origin story comes from. This is book 3. I have book 2, a friend of mine has it actually, but I also have a read of book 5, which is essentially the conclusion of Promethea and talks a lot about, the end times, electromagnetism, and this idea of like stepping away from the eagle eye view of everything, is that it all is like a cosmic game, right? And seeing the board from a different perspective, seeing the game of life from a whole new perspective, and one that is a bit more empowering for you, and one that's a lot more fun. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you guys learned something and had fun going down the magic path. I will be back tomorrow to do some tarot and astrology stuff in the day, and we're gonna be working on the DJ dance schedule to ensure that you guys can get that in your schedule and you know when to expect us next. All right, guys, so thank you so much for joining. I'm Mayari Moonchild, aka Rachel Z. Remember, it takes true courage for you to play as exactly you in the cosmic game of life. So be sure to play as exactly you, because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I have your back. Till next time, magical friends.